this is a personal question I have had that I have seen many times is 91% of breaches involve a human. Now that's been paraphrased in many different ways in different reports. And I don't know if maybe Reg is already thinking of his response here based on that, but I've seen the 91% of breaches start with a phishing email. I've seen that exact quote. I actually pulled it from a report that I was reading. So my question to you two, what's your thought on that? Is that accurate? Is it disingenuous? What does it mean? Is it even valuable for us to be discussing?
I think all of the above, honestly, but it's like measuring the cosmos. Like we just don't have good data. Any statistic in cybersecurity is at best a consideration and at worst just complete filth or junk. And this is no different. You know, honestly, I get, pardon the French, but I get douche chills when I hear that human beings are the weakest link in cybersecurity. Now, I'll clarify that because, you know, by the time a phishing email reaches someone's inbox, a whole bunch of technology has already failed.
Yeah.
So let's just make sure we understand that. But where I might recant some of this is that it was a human being that wrote sloppy code on the website. It was a human being that misconfigured a firewall. It was a human that didn't patch, email, gateway. It could be a lot of things. So I generally agree that human beings are, all risks come down to human beings. And it doesn't matter if it's someone clicking a link or writing, buggy code. In the system, though, that we see and what's most visible, I would argue they're no more prevalent, no more vulnerable, and no more subjected to these things than any piece of technology that's in that chain. But again, going back to statistics, I don't trust any of them. If you look at all of them and just consider them all data points, you generally have a sense that a lot of these issues end, right? So patient zero becomes a human being, but we forget all the stuff that happened before. But the statistics are really problematic in this industry because we just have, certainly there are, sketchy contributors to statistics. But I just think as an industry, we don't have enough really good information to even draw these conclusions from.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I have some thoughts on that too. I agree. I think it's less about is it 91% or 86% or 92.5? Like, who cares? We know that the human element is the significant piece of this. And we're not talking about just phishing. We're talking about the natural weakness that we have as humans to trust one another, to believe one another, to do what we're told to do, and even the human weakness and elements of laziness, of like not doing the good security hygiene things that we know we should be doing. Like the IT people are as guilty as the non-IT people over this. I was looking at some of the last breaches of 2021 that were significant. For example, take Colonial Pipeline, right? Was it a phishing attack? No, but I would argue that it was a significant human weakness that occurred because it wasn't just reused credentials. It was a VPN server that was not properly decommissioned. Like that's basic stuff. You look at the Kaseya attacks. You look at some of the things that happened inside of that with the known vulnerabilities that weren't fully, correctly, speedily addressed. You look at the SolarWinds stuff. What is it? SolarWinds 123 was the password. So like we have a lot of this stuff that's involved that I think you can argue that people definitely are a significant piece to this. But the nuance comes in with this, and I know we're going to talk about this, is okay, but how do we solve it? What we don't do is go berate everyone over this, because that's not going to fix anything, right? Like no one wants the dad that's constantly not good enough. You better, son. You got to kick the ball harder. You got to throw further. No one wants that. So how do we be the encouraging dad that actually gets changes done, but also, I hate to use the word discipline because that's not the right word, but like steers our company in the right direction? Like that's what we need. And it's so important to like establish that culture. Otherwise, we're going to fail on either end of that spectrum.
Yeah, it's we need coaching way more than we need discipline